PS and Reloaded, man. It's your boy 3-Letter, man. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Y'all see where to follow your boy at. Hit the like button also. I appreciate that, man. Y'all see the title of this one, bro. Let's talk about it, man. Happy Football Sunday. Absolutely. Happy Football Sunday. Talk about football, guys. I here salute whatever team you rock with. You know I'm a Jets fan. Whatever, right? Let's get into this conversation, man. We all wanted to hear from Young Thug, right? It's one thing for people to drop audio leaks on you. It's one thing for your tweets. It's one thing for Rollo and YSL Woody to come out and say things about you and stuff like that. And, you know, you're the big news of the hip-hop culture right now is Young Thug. I keep telling Uncle Murder, please wake up and feel free to drop the wrap up right quick, right? But let me just say, and let me give, to me, the MVP is his brother Bank. Let me just give Bank his flowers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you something, brother Bank. I know nothing about you. I've been educated about you within the last 24 hours and anything like that. And I heard during the interview with Young Thug, it wasn't really an interview, for like a therapy session. I'm going to keep it tall. Where I think I heard you say you're 47 years old. And from one old head to another, man, I just want to salute you, brother. For real, man. I got to give his brother's flowers, man. Dog, I love the fact how you conducted this interview for 3 hours. Damn near 3 hours. I love the way this brother was talking to Thug. And let's be honest, man. There's not a New York interviewer or Aiden Ross. And time out, about Aiden Ross. Oh, I'm sorry, Thug. You don't need to go to Aiden Ross. And maybe you did already. It's taped and everything, recorded, pre-recorded and stuff like that. But, dog, I have zero interest. And I'm going to say this right now. Yeah, he's going to do views wherever he goes. But that brother, I hate to be this guy, but that white boy Aiden Ross is not going to touch what his brother Bank did with his sit-down with Young Thug. And I just want to give his brother flowers again because I don't think anyone else, respectfully, would have done a great job like this brother does. Because, first of all, when you have a guy like Young Thug who seems to respect you, respect your OGism, respect your gangster, shout out to Dragon and Styles P, if you know, you know. He respects where you come from and everything. And it was almost like a cry for help. Because during this interview, there's so much thing to talk about. You can talk about Thug dropping a Thug tear and everything. You're going to go in that bag. He was doing one of these and stuff. And you could just tell that being betrayed or allegedly being betrayed, how Thug feels in being betrayed by Gunna and everything like that. The way he spoke about Gunna, you know, spending bread on Gunna, helping him and stuff like that. He spoke about people like, listen, y'all see I get on Drake. But I would salute Drake. Drake gave his brother $1 million. When Thug went off a bunch of names that sent money to his mom Dukes or sent him bread, he did put emphasis, a little oomph, behind Drizzy Drake and way Drake held him down. So if it's true that Drake gave his brother $1 million, I got to salute Drake on that. I have nothing bad to say about that at all. This was a very good back and forth. Brother Bank held his brother accountable for certain things that he would say. You know, they spoke about uniting Atlanta. And that's the thing about the A, man. They've been dominating hip-hop for damn near over how many decades right now. I got to keep it tall. Atlanta been really holding on hip-hop and stuff like that. And it always seemed from outside looking in that Atlanta had camaraderie. There was unity. There was brotherhood. Whether it's fake, you know, or some BS and everything like that. Because if you look at back in the day after Outkast and Goody Mob, you know, if you look at T.I., Jeezy, and Guap and them, Gucci and everything like that, the way those guys are the forefathers of Atlanta and stuff like that, you know, they held it down Atlanta and stuff. And, you know, we know Guap and Jeezy had the issues. I still don't know to this day why they did the verses. I don't know. There's no way I could do the verses if someone killed my man, like Gucci Man's friend, allegedly situation, whatever. If not allegedly, whatever. Right? But it's always seemed to be camaraderie between Atlanta. And then you might have the new Atlanta, which is Young Thug, R.I.P., Rich Homie Quan, Rollo, and your little baby and the rest of these brothers that's from Atlanta, right? But you could tell the way Thug feels. He misses homeboy, man. He misses Gunna. Because when Bank asked him, yo, dog, you play me music, why you not dropping music? The way Thug started talking, like, I feel naked. We don't do pause out here. I know y'all gonna pause me and everything, you stupid idiots. I don't do pause games. Sorry, not every New York nigga plays the pause game, and not every New York nigga does the SMD talk. Let me just tell you niggas that right now, but whether you're neither here nor there. But this was a very dope interview, man. 831,000 views, and it hasn't been 24 hours at all. And shout out to Bank again for not dropping these in 82 pieces. And drop the whole thing, brother. Drop the whole thing. That's why I drop the whole video, brother. You know what I mean? And Doug spoke about some interesting things. He spoke about, when he was in prison, in jail and everything like that, and he was messed up and everything, and running to the phone to speak to his girl, and he didn't want to talk to Savage, he didn't want to talk to Pluto, Future and them and all that, because he didn't want to get them jammed up and stuff. And he was just talking. Feeling like, yo, this is it, my last days, like the Onyx song, right? My last days and everything. I might get locked up for a lifetime and stuff time. And I'm just talking. I'm talking out my ass, because he was talking out his ass. Let's keep it real. But how we get to mend these fences, and how do we get Atlanta back into camaraderie and stuff like that? And it might not ever be like that, right? Because I saw Rollo talk about how Thug was lying or something. I saw it this morning and stuff. He kind of, had a rebuttal to some of the stuff that Thug says. And I would like to see Brother Bank get, and let's be honest, if you're not from Atlanta, you had to be from Atlanta to hold this Thug Down interview. I think, real talk, I don't think the prominent hip-hop journalists, the Elliot Wilsons and my man B-Dot and the rest of those brothers, they would have held this interview down. I got a lot, they would not have held this interview down. You had to be Atlanta to talk Atlanta slang, to talk about Atlanta hip-hop, to speak about, Jonesboro and certain parts of Atlanta. Bank did a great job. And I'm also glad it wasn't no young cat out there that held this down. We do need our OGs to talk to these brothers and stuff, man. But, he only wanted to talk to Wifey, according to Thug. I didn't want to speak to anybody else but Wifey. And I can understand that when you're going through a situation that Thug went through, the only person that you feel is going to hold it down, if it's not your partners, but it's going to be Wifey, right? He also spoke about, how, because I think Rollo said this also, that Thug kind of divided Atlanta. And Thug is like, no, how did I divide Atlanta when I did such and such and such and such? And you can tell he has an issue with P. I think there's a respect factor he has with P. But P ain't really one of his favorite people and stuff like that, man. But when Thug said, when Thug was, and also this might be the best hip-hop interview this year. Everybody raved about Shannon Sharp's interview with Cat Williams. But I think this might be one of the best interviews in hip-hop, period. And I want to he asked all the right questions, this Brother Bank, man. And, I know people been piling on Thug a little bit this whole week. It's hard for me to tell what's true and what's not true, right? And you guys could, people from Atlanta could have a better conversation with that. But, you can see the different perspective. Bank speaks from an older perspective. And when you speak from an older perspective, you're not telling Thug to crash out. You're not telling Thug to go grab the pistols and go do drive-bys and spin the block and get back on people and everything, man. But this might be the best rapper interview I've seen in a while. I watched the whole thing in entirety. I got to keep it here and everything. And they're going to touch 1 million views real soon, right? It was very good interview, man. Very authentic. I think that's another word we got to use. Very authentic. 100% authenticity in this back and forth and everything, man. This is the best honest interview that I said I've seen in a long time with two brothers chopping it up and stuff like that, man. Raw and uncut. And shout out again to Big Brother Bank for allowing Thug to get his ish off. Just falling back. Even if I felt there was parts of the interview that Banks was looking at him like he's full of shit a little bit though. But, what I've learned, that this Gunna and Thug relationship is deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap. There was a brotherhood here. And something I would love for Gunna to go on Bank's show and have a conversation, because when Gunna got out, Thug was saying that people were sending his mama money. A lot of other rappers are sending his mother money, checking on Mom Dukes and shit, checking on Mama Love, breaking her off and make sure she's good financially, right? And I didn't understand why Gunna didn't do that. Kind of surprised that Gunna wouldn't check on Thug's money. He doesn't have to, right? If you want to say, but then again, does he have to? Because, dog, if this man put you on and gave you millions and took care of you and when you in dire straits, you do owe him that, though, man. But I want to salute this brother Brother Bank again, man. This was a very, very dope interview, man. This is gonna go down in the books, man. You know, it was a good back and forth, man. And I guess you gotta get. I guess for Thug, it's gonna be hard to make amends with Gunna because the way he feels, he's been betrayed, and when you've been betrayed by somebody, you know, you feel some type of way. You know, you're gonna have have to sit down and stuff. And then I saw a picture with Gunna and Thug's pops and everything, and Thug spoke about a group text that his pops put his number in there with Gunna and everything like that. And Gunna, it seemed like Gunna doesn't want to have anything to do with Thug. That's just the way, you know. And I appreciate Thug coming out and speaking and everything like that. But I have zero interest in the Ada and Ross interview, man. So I want to, once again, big up the brother Bank, man. You did a hell of a job, brother. Salute to you again. Salute to you again, brother. Salute to you again, man. So, man, it's your boy 3. If I have not, go check that out, man. Y'all go check that out, all right? One.